That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And today we're here to talk about Cold Wallet, the sophomore film directed by Cutter Hodierne, which premiered at the 2024 South by Southwest Film Festival. Well Go USA Entertainment is releasing it February 28th, 2025.
Do you know this director's first film?
Yeah, I clearly remember watching their debut, Fishing Without Nets, at the 2014 Sundance Film Festival, where I believe it was in competition, highly touted film, because it had been based on a previous celebrated short feature of the same name. And then unfortunately, I think that film about pirates was kind of eclipsed by that Captain Phillips movie around the same time. But so yeah, it's been a decade since Mr. Hodierne's last film. He's reuniting with his scribe, John Hibey, of that film, which I'm sure we'll talk some shit about that in a minute.
What is Cold Wallet about? A team of Redditors lose everything after a cryptocurrency scam leads them to plot to kidnap the financial influencer who screwed them over. What is your pull quote?
Despite its bid for topicality, Cold Wallet is a dull home invasion thriller with derivative beats and nonsensical dialogue. Oliver Stone claims money never sleeps, but apparently cryptocurrency is soporific.
Mine. Unfortunately, Cold Wallet is a mashup of genres, of which none fully stick the landing. Because it feels like it's trying to be like a crime caper, heist type movie, an action film, but also a comedy.
I felt like if you mash that kind of dull film Dumb Money together with something like Don't Breathe, it's a little bit what it feels like.
What's that movie we reviewed about the kid who was selling drugs on the internet? Like had a website?
Silk Road.
Yeah, it's kind of like that vibe, except if it was trying to be a comedy.
That was also not very good.
But I don't know that I think it's trying to be a comedy. Is it just dumb? I don't know.
It almost felt like it needed a kind of Coen Brothers angle, like of these bumbling fools, or even Sam Raimi's A Simple Plan. Something better to emulate itself over. In fact, this is really at the same realm, because you said, why didn't they just call this film Crypto? Well, there's a really terrible 2019 film called Crypto, starring Bo Knapp and poor Kurt Russell sandwiched in a limited role, because I think the filmmakers knew him.
The story is about this guy, played by Raúl Castillo, who...
Billy.
has invested money in this particular crypto app, I guess. I'm not too familiar with what that is, but he seems to be up, and is very excited, like it's Christmas time.
No one can stop me. I'm on the way.
Oh, I was thinking of Cardi B's
okay.
but that one's better. But all of a sudden, as he's arguing with his baby mama, like, I have money now, I'm going to take care of my daughter and pay these bills. He's like, look, bitch, and shows her his phone. And we see that all the money he had earned from this cryptocurrency is literally dropping like a hot potato. And we see it go negative, which at first is like, why? And then there's an important point to that. But so now he's negative, like tens of thousands of dollars. Then his best buddy,
Dom, played by Tony Cavalero,
he goes to visit him and tries to explain, like, yeah, the bottom fell out. And then Tom sees, oh, I'm negative. How's that even possible? We still don't know. But then that night, as Raúl's character is at home, like, just sorrowful, he gets on Reddit and gets, like, a DM from this.
He's doom scrolling.
He gets this DM from this rando, who, it's not a rando, but it's like this anonymous type person who he's been chatting with, who says, oh, because I didn't explain, the reason the crypto is going down in value for this particular app is because the man who created it,
Charles Hegel, played by Josh Brener,
he has died. It's all over the news.
In Kenya.
In Kenya. And so that caused everything to tank, because he has again, I'm not fully clear what this is, but I guess like the crypto has to actually exist.
Yeah.
And this person had it and it's gone. I don't know. But either way, it's been reported that this man has died, and that's why everyone just suddenly lost their money.
As Grace Jones would say, he's a digital criminal.
Yes. So this anonymous Reddit message says, hey, that guy's not dead. I know where he is. Here's like the location. He's by himself in this big mansion. We need to go get our stuff. And this fool decides to do it. So he gets his friend Tom. They go meet this person, and it's a lady named
Ava, played by Melonie Diaz.
So this is the team of Redditors, these three fools. And they go to like a Big Five sporting goods, get a gun.
That scene is...
It's dumb. They go to this house, and sure enough, this financial influencer is alive and is there in the house chilling.
This financial influencer who has faked his own death with only a groundskeeper kind of wandering around.
Yeah, we need to get to it. It makes no sense to me.
That needed to be like the film Abigail, where they get there and it's like, oh, some crazy supernatural shit.
Yeah, he's a werewolf.
Yeah.
But then it becomes very, very standard where it's like, oh, the rich guy being held hostage is going to outsmart these three fools. And so he gets in each of their heads. Raúl's the most...
Which isn't hard.
It isn't hard, but Raúl's the most resistant because, of course, we get the backstory of him being separated from his wife, not having access to his daughter because he can't afford to pay bills. So he really needs this money. Mm-hmm. And Ava has convinced these two dummies to help her because she says we can get all the money back, hundreds of millions of dollars, and then we can airdrop it to everyone who lost money. The science behind the technology that would do all of this is so vague to me, but they go and agree to do it. And all they have to do is find the actual, so cold wallet refers, I guess, to like the external hard drive that would hold the crypto,
yes,
I guess.
And not a zombie sex worker.
So he gets into all of their heads, convinces them that they shouldn't do this to varying degrees of effect. But the financial influencer is able to get the upper hand, kills Tom, injures Ava. Raúl's the last one standing, and he scares this guy enough to get him to give him like the codes to get the money.
Yes.
Which is so simple, and we can get to it, but it kind of all revolves around the novel Moby Dick. But Raúl's character seems like such a bumbling idiot that I'm amazed that he can even log into an app, let alone extract this currency, transfer it, and then drop it. But as Raúl has just gotten the money and is about to get away, the feds show up.
Yes.
And they catch, is his name Charles?
Yes, Charles Hegel. Mm-hmm.
They apprehend his ass, and he's trying to say, hey, don't you care about the person who did this, and blah, blah, blah. And they don't care. They just want to throw him in the car.
Pure Fed behavior.
Yeah. So Raúl's able to get away, and while he's running through the woods, because it's wintertime, it's snowy and cold, he's running through with his phone, and we can see, like, the transfer is complete, but it's made vague. Like, we don't know if he's transferring all the money to himself or he's doing the full airdrop. Mm-hmm. We do know that he was able to transfer $260 million to himself. Mm-hmm. So while he's running through the woods, we see that service is spotty and that he's only like 50% transferred. And then it cuts to sometime in the future, his daughter, like in the near future, maybe the same day.
I think it's the next morning.
His daughter is on her phone and she's like, oh, look at this. I got money. And the mom's like, give me that. And we see that the daughter has $18 million in her account. So clearly the dad transferred. And then we see Ava, who was not fatally injured. She's driving down the road looking at the things and she has the radio on. And she hears that, oh, this Robin Hood angel dropped all this money to thousands of people who lost through this app. Mm-hmm. So I guess all's well that ends well. And the final shot is that Raúl Castillo is dead from like hypothermia.
Frozen to the ground. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think the writing is the first problem. Mm-hmm. The dialogue and then the way it's delivered, because Raúl is just screaming everything.
I like Raúl Castillo, and I was very interested to see this because of him and Melonie Diaz, who I haven't seen films since like Fruitvale Station or Hamlet 2 or Be Kind Rewind. Yeah, but
so his vibe is that he's just screaming everything. Then you have
he's taking notes from Pacino.
Then you have that character. He's supposed to be like this really chill, Zen guy, and he's kind of not into like any violence, but for some reason agrees to go because he finds out that the reason he's negative is because the money he invested into the app he also borrowed money unbeknownst to him. So that's how they kind of screwed people over as well, is that people were borrowing money from the broker to invest. And then we get the side story of Tom that he had bought into this gym he works in.
Very Love Lies Bleeding.
So that, you know, they're counting on him to make his share of the payments. And then Ava is supposed to be this badass who's like the one who understands the technology. But the way she's just prattling off everything.
That's Exposition 101 a lot.
Well, it's like crypto for dummies, but also not really, because none of this makes sense to me. I don't know.
Well, okay, and as vague and ignorant I am about cryptocurrency, I have been involved with 2 mortgages, and there's a side plot with Raúl Castillo's character which suggests that the people that wrote this don't have that kind of experience either.
Yeah, well, let's get to that, because the opening of the film is Raúl and his friend Tom are at a bar. It's Christmas. They're celebrating. He's excited. We realize it's because he's making money on the app. So then he's feeling good, goes to his baby mama's house, but then he's saying that it's his house.
She brought a PS2 for Christmas, and that's cause for alarm.
She's mad because he can't afford to pay the mortgage, but he can afford to buy PS2, which she saw online are selling for like thousands of dollars. And then my comment about that character and the writing of her, the delivery, she's so screechy.
Yeah.
That it's like, it was such an odd start.
So after Billy goes into the red, we also see that there's this realtor that's blowing up his phone being like, hey, we need to verify your funds with the bank so you can get this house so you can live in with your daughter, and you don't want to pass that up so you're not homeless.
Well, but a key thing is that the realtor is talking so slowly.
Like she's reading a haiku.
She's saying the buyer wants... Like, it's just so weird, like, how this realtor's talking.
And he's like, I need more time. But it's like, you fool! Like, how are you going to verify the cryptocurrency with your bank so that you could...
There's just so much about it that doesn't make sense. So then I thought, initially I thought, this is going to be like like a slapstick comedy about these people trying to get their money back. But then, no, it's like a legitimate, like, action heist movie, except that the 2 main characters are dummies.
But I think that the it's not that they're dummies, because that could be funny. It's that everything is so boring. There are no stakes. There's nothing thrilling. There's nothing noble, as you said, about their endeavor.
Right. When they break into the house, immediately, because they're being watched on surveillance, Charles, the financial influencer, gets on the PA and says, "You need to leave now. I've called the police." And obviously he didn't, because he's faked his own death and is hiding, and he's in trouble by the feds. So obviously he didn't do that. So of course Ava's like, he didn't call no police. So they keep wandering around, but it's just like, they're just wandering around forever. This man is uber rich, has planned his own death to escape prosecution. And he's just sitting up in this big ass house. Also, they keep mentioning how enormous this mansion is, but the way the film's shot, it all feels very small.
You don't see a lot of it, yeah.
You don't see a lot of it. Okay, the groundsperson. When they first get to the mansion, there is like the groundskeeper there, this man with a British accent. And he seems like he doesn't understand the gravity of like who he's working for. He just says, well, I can't let you in, because they're pretending to be like Uber Eats drivers. Like, we have to physically deliver the food. No, you don't. Like, just give me the food. They end up breaking in. But later that man ends up getting shot and killed, which is where I think the plot is trying to like add some
gravity to this.
But it just feels so like inconsequential. Okay. I think the scene that drove me the most crazy is Ava has explained to them, like, this is how we need to break into the cold wallets and blah, blah, blah. We need time. There's a moment where Raúl's character and Tom get on like a Zoom call with a hacker that Ava had given them info to.
Yeah.
And then they're trying to pretend like they're 2 rich guys who fired their like tech support, and so they need to break into these cold wallets. I just thought, I don't understand the tone, because it almost seems like it should be like, sometimes this movie feels like it's trying to be like, dude, where's my car? Except there are no jokes. They just look ridiculous. because Raul's wearing like a fur coat and Tom is trying to act like...
But that hacker is there at the behest of Ava, who's off screen, like angrily waving at them because these two bozos are saying
too much.
All the wrong things.
Right.
It's like, why aren't you just brokering this exchange?
Well, then, because I think it's supposed to, like, they're trying to show that, like, they are skeptical of her because they really don't know her. And her plan of, like, let's take the money and drop it to everyone. Because Charles, the financial influencer, keeps saying, like, well, how do you know she's not just going to keep the money for herself? Because clearly you two dummies don't know how to negotiate any of this.
Well, the fact that they're having that conversation in the house while they've already kidnapped somebody is just... Again, there's a way to make that seem ludicrous because people are doing dumb things like that they shouldn't. But it just all feels so inconsequential.
Early on, when they break into the home, we see this like installation. It's like this statue of a sperm whale. And then don't we see someone reading Moby Dick? Or am I thinking of a different movie?
No, somebody... Oh, actually, in Tom Tickver's Dry, somebody is reading Moby Dick.
Oh, that's right.
But there are Moby Dick references.
But so we see the statue of a sperm whale, and immediately you think, oh, that's going to come back into play. And we find out that that's where Charles is hiding these passcodes for the cold wallets. But then...
In the belly of the whale, yeah.
Then at a point... Because Raúl Castillo's holding Charles at gunpoint saying, you need to get us those passcodes. So, of course, Charles is like, well, I need to call my assistant who's in, like, the Bahamas. So he gets on another Zoom call, Charles does, and is talking to this lady who I guess is his assistant. And then he uses the word Ajax, which the way the assistant reacts, didn't you think it was like, oh, he's enacted this protocol where, like, he's in danger, they need to come and help him. But then we realize that that's not what it is. So then it's like, oh, any chance of getting some real action is missing. But the Ajax protocol is basically that whatever money was on those passcodes, on those cold wallets, has been transferred. So when Raúl is actually somehow able to break into those cold wallets and find the money, they're zeroed out. So then in a final move, Raúl's like, I'm going to shoot you in the head if you don't give me the passcode for where the money is. And finally, Charles goes, it's Call Me Ishmael. I was so annoyed by that.
You know who else would hate this? Herman Melville.
Oh?
Melville would hate this movie.
Damn. Yeah, I'm sorry to say. I just thought that on all levels, I didn't find any of it, like, interesting.
Compelling.
Fun.
Yeah, I don't know what I was expecting. I remember the hype over Fishing Without Nets, and I'm like, oh, he's finally got another film, Mr. Cutter Hodierne. So, and with people I like in the cast, this should be interesting. But whoa, no.
What would you give Cold Wallet?
I'm gonna have to give it 1.5 because what the cardinal sin is, if you're dull, if you're boring, what are we sitting here for?
Well, people would say that about me, but.
Me too, but I mean,
I agree. There was just nothing for me to hold on to. I would give it 1.5 out of 5. Join us on Patreon and listen to our podcast. Bye.